royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams. Richard, thank you so much indeed for your time. Tell us some of your favourite memories, some of your favourite stories about Queen Elizabeth.
Well, having met her on several occasions, which was a privilege, I remember her delightful sense of humour, her charm, and also she had a magic dignity. It's part and parcel of being royal, I think, that she, and perhaps the Duke of Edinburgh as well, they had this absolutely extraordinary chemistry between them, so that she was rather cautious and shy and conservative, and he was very dynamic and abrasive and experimental. And together they made the perfect couple for the benefit of the monarchy and of the country. I mean, if one thinks of various stories, the Queen was a wonderful mimic. I gather that she was able to mimic Concorde landing, which is something that I never heard, but the Dean of Windsor said so. My favourite, or one of my favourite memories, is certainly being at Royal Ascot in 2013. I mean, the Queen was one of the great equestrian experts on equine matters throughout the globe. I don't think that she had a personal holiday which didn't involve horses in some form, and at Royal Ascot in 2013 her horse Estimate won the Gold Cup, and afterwards we saw the footage of the Queen with her trainer absolutely overjoyed. That to her was glorious. Had she not been Queen, I think she would have been a country lady with her beloved horses and also her dogs, where the corgis were famous, of course.
Yeah, that's right. She owned dozens of corgis during her lifetime, didn't she? And you talk about the racing. I mean, to see the Queen at a racecourse was a very, very common sight during her lifetime. Did she ever express much opinion about the balance between her personal and her public life? Horses were something that she could really indulge in terms of her personal interests.
Yes, absolutely. I think that one of the great aspects of the Queen, which is why she will be one of the finest monarchs in 1,000 years of royal history, was the way she was the perfect constitutional monarch, because she grew up in an age of deference, and she never gave an interview directly to camera. She was often on camera commenting on aspects of life, the Crown Jewels most recently, but she wasn't, as Charles to some extent has been, you didn't know her personal opinions. So she was able to be not only above party politics, but you didn't even know, say, what she thought of the Andy Warhol portrait, which had become so iconic. She had about 140 portraits, and I would love to have known what she thought of them. This was the thing. She was able to remove herself, both from the political fray, being above party politics, but also in trips abroad, in her duties as head of the Commonwealth. I mean, there was an occasional clash between prime ministers such as Edward Heath and Margaret Thatcher over issues such as South Africa and Rhodesia. And there the Queen did walk quite a delicate tightrope between her duties as Queen and her duties as head of the Commonwealth. So that was one example, but certainly personal charisma, if you consider her trip to Ireland in 2011 and the fact that that was probably the highlight of her reign, because it led to a seismic improvement in Britain's relations with Ireland, which of course they had to have the Good Friday Agreement, but this was subsequent to that, and it has always been regarded as a total triumph. She also had a remarkably close relationship with President Mandela of South Africa, and that he was the only head of state, I think, to call her Elizabeth.
Yeah, it is interesting. The former US President Barack Obama said she was one of his all-time favorite people. Did you feel that something may have changed with the death of Princess Diana in terms of the Queen possibly having it impressed upon her, whether it was by the people of the UK or whether the Prime Minister at the time, Tony Blair, actually had to change something in her thinking about her direct relationship with the people of the UK? Because when Diana died, there was a lot of anger. A lot of it was directed at the royal family. And then the Queen spoke in public. And the story was that she'd been reluctant to do so. But after she spoke to the public, did she then understand that there was a difference in her relationship with the people of the country?
I think that she was indeed initially reluctant to change, simply because she believed she was a Balmoral at the time, and the streets of London were full. I mean, millions placed flowers and so forth. Tony Blair's sobriquet, the People's Princess, suited the moment, and the Queen did appear at that period to be somewhat aloof. And of course, monarchy relies on precedent, and there wasn't any. It was an extraordinary outpouring, but there's no question that when the Queen finally came to London, which was a change of plan, and appeared and addressed the nation, matters calmed. And although there was an unprecedented applause in Westminster Abbey during the service following Earl Spencer's address, within 5 years, she had a triumphal Golden Jubilee. So that was one of those extraordinary moments where Britain showed a different side to the world. And that wasn't something that it would have been possible to predict.
Richard, really appreciate it. Thank you so much indeed for taking the time to talk to us. Richard Fitzwilliams with his memories and analysis of Queen Elizabeth II.